Welcome to the Rabbit Hole Fantasy Football Podcast. Thoughts, analysis, and information to help you succeed in your fantasy football leagues. I am your host, Chad Lyon, and I am here as always with Tyler Bevel and our producer, Mitchell Bird.
Hello.
And this is our Week 2 Thursday Night Football and early Sunday game preview. I can't wait to get into these games. I'm absolutely fired up for Week 2. Week 1 always leaves you hanging for more. Luckily, we got a lot more to go. But as usual, Tyler, before we start, we got an interesting top 3 list today.
All right.
Top 3 wild game to hunt. We are all outdoorsy folks here sitting in this room, so you go ahead and start it off, Ty.
Yeah. I'd like to put more on those lists, but I haven't made it out west yet. We live in Pennsylvania, so I will go white-tailed deer as my number 1. I'm going to give a nod to the squirrels for number 2.
Yeah.
I love squirrel hunting. It's just a fun time. You don't really got to be quiet or anything. You just hang out and have a good time in the woods with some buddies and stuff. And then turkey, number 3.
All right, right on. Turkey hunting. All right, we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah.
Mitchell, what you got?
I like to archery hunt. White-tailed deer is my favorite. Although flintlock season in Pennsylvania is pretty special. I'm going to give that a shout out. Number 2 is going to be turkey. And 3, rabbit hunting.
Love the rabbits.
Yeah.
Rabbits didn't make my list. I haven't got to do that as much as I'd like to. I do have a beagle, but she's way too much of a diva for that.
Yeah.
She is
That's true.
Mom's little princess
Sabian's
beagle.
not hunting rabbits.
No, man. She wants to curl up at your feet, and she don't care nothing about. Well, that's actually not true. It's there. I've watched the instinct happen as a rabbit runs through my yard. I mean, tail straight up and like paw kicks up. I mean, she points right in that direction, like, and then her tail gets going as she gets. I mean, they say that some of those beagles, man, that hunt rabbits, they will whip those tails. They'll get them going so much that like the white tip sometimes will get red.
Yeah.
From like, I don't know if that pulls blood to that area. Like I don't know what it is. A friend of mine that's way into it was telling me that. I've never seen it, but I thought it was super interesting. And like to watch her, you know, if she gets smelling something and you watch her tail, it's like that thing's going like 100 miles an hour. So I think it's like natural. It's just built in genetically. It's there.
Oh, definitely. Still a beagle.
Sure. My top 3, number 1 is turkey. There is nothing better than spring turkey, man. It is. Yeah. Dude, I'm like walking the log road. It's pitch black and I'm just walking and I hear that first gobble and it's like arm hairs immediately like on end. I love it, man. And I have a spot that I go where they roost, like they just roost all around the field. It's right up the road, actually. And, dude, you might only see a couple of them, but it's like, dude, I'm hearing like 7 different turkeys right now. It's so much fun, man.
Get your heart going.
Yeah, and calling them in and you get the answer. And there's just something awesome about talking back and forth with a wild animal. It's awesome. Number 2 is white-tailed deer. I'm a little bit of a diva. I'm not a huge fan of the cold. So I got my little heater in my blind, our pallet built blind.
We don't hunt the same.
Nope. No, you are on foot, man. Number 3 is dove.
Gotta love it.
Same idea as squirrels. Like you don't have to be quiet. You're just hanging out with a buddy.
Yeah, it's a good time, man. Yep. It's the best.
Yep. Walking the edge of cornfields and they come kicking out. And
they're good. They're delicious.
Wrap them in bacon.
Oh,
dove poppers, baby.
I like to do the spatchcocking.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've never done the spatchcock.
Yeah, I like that.
I should. That looks good. I watched this Wild and Whole lady. She's just all about like cooking wild game, and that's how she does it.
Sounds like my kind of girl, wild and whole.
All right, let's move on to football here. We'll start with Thursday night football. We have the Bills at the Dolphins. Really hoping for a better week from the pass catchers here.
Yeah.
On the Buffalo side.
You know, week one's always week 1. And yeah, but they did say, and I don't know if this was on, I want to say Red Zone, but they said that like you had to go back to the year 2000 to see passing numbers as low as this past week 1.
Yeah, and the running back numbers were high.
Yeah.
So is it an overreaction to think that like
I think it's going to level out? No, I don't think so. I think it's still a passing game, but just an interesting stat that it was definitely a down week, even for a week 1.
The way Buffalo did things was interesting. Arizona also.
Yeah.
Bills, Arizona matchup, the whole thing. I was scrolling through Twitter and scanning through some articles the other night, and it seemed a lot of the things that I read were talking about how the wind was more extreme than anyone really reported on. I mean, that'll ruin a pass game.
Oh, for sure.
And I don't know how much weight that holds, but
I think a lot of weight.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I wasn't in Buffalo.
No, but
so
I mean,
it was just a couple reports.
If the
that
win
I saw,
was a factor, keep in mind Josh Allen had a receiving core that only one person on that receiving core had caught a pass from him before that game.
Right.
And Kyler Murray, I don't know. It was just not too many new faces there, but Marvin Harrison Jr., I don't know. If the win was a factor.
Yeah. Generally speaking, I think wind affects passing games more than you put any thought into.
Yeah, I know definitely going into that game, you're thinking well, Kyler Murray and Josh Allen, this is going to be...
Right. So I wonder if that affected Allen and Murray, and that was a thing that just wasn't really talked about much, and, I don't know. I don't know how much weight that actual report holds.
Right.
But if it is true, then it makes sense. Also, snap shares for the pass catchers in Buffalo from week 1. So something to think about. As low as Dalton Kincaid's numbers were, 84% led the whole team in snap shares. All right. Behind him was Keon Coleman at 73%, followed by Mac Hollins at 58%, Dawson Knox at 58%, Khalil Shakir at 53%, Curtis Samuel 27%.
Yeah.
MVS 21%. He doesn't matter. Does Mac Hollins matter?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Now,
let me just ask. Curtis Samuel was dinged up a little bit.
Yeah,
I wonder, did that have anything to do with Mac Hollins?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. I think Josh Allen likes that big build guy on the outside. But when you're talking Mac Hollins, do I think it's going to be great? No, but I could easily see Mac Hollins filling that Gabe Davis role.
Yeah, I mean, somebody has to. Mac Hollins,
But I also think that Curtis Samuel, I would like to see, and I think it will, his snap share will go up.
Okay. We have to expect that with a snap share at 84%, this Dalton Kincaid thing it's got to level out, right?
And it's got to get better.
I mean, that's just, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if these snap shares, hold a little more weight as far as fantasy points go. You would think it'd have to.
It is at Miami, so hopefully the wind isn't as much of a factor down there. Better weather.
Yeah. Even Keon Coleman, 73%. I mean,
that's encouraging.
Yeah, very encouraging. So we'll see if that changes here, and we get a little better fantasy output. And again, maybe the wind had something to do with it. I don't know. It was week 1.
Yeah.
You start James Cook here, obviously. 22 touches last week. I think he'll be a fine RB2 as long as his volume's there. I'm there.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite pass catcher to I guess bounce back
for the Bills?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sticking with Dalton Kincaid.
Me too. I think he's going to have a better week this week.
Yeah.
You're obviously starting Josh Allen. He's getting his left hand looked at, but that doesn't really sound like a problem. He doesn't even have I didn't notice a questionable tag.
No.
When I was writing this out. So, the only wide receivers to talk about it's Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle as far as Miami goes.
Yeah. Start them both.
Another boom week for Tyreek.
I don't see why not.
You start Waddle. Pretty confident in Waddle.
Yeah.
After last week. Achane and Mostert, both questionable. Here we go. Achane with an ankle injury, Mostert with a chest injury. It doesn't seem to be super concerning according to Mike McDaniels, but coach speak. We'll see.
Yeah.
Just hate to see them both appearing on the injury list already.
Already,
man. But I also think it's not something we should be surprised about. So how imperative is it that you have, if you have Mostert or Achane, that you have also Jalen Wright?
Very.
It sounds like it already. He was a scratch, I think, a healthy scratch.
Yeah, and honestly, I just don't know if Mostert is a long-term answer. I'm not saying he might get you through some weeks early on, but
he didn't look good.
This is not going to surprise me if this becomes Devon Achane, Jalen Wright pretty quickly.
And again, as long as
Jalen Wright not playing thing was weird last week, the coach's decision.
Jeff Wilson,
Jeff Wilson, and Jeff Wilson. If you're in a pinch already, monitor that situation, because it is a quick turnaround Thursday night game. If Achane and Mostert don't go, you got to feel like it's going to be a combination of Wilson and Wright. So
Okay. And again, as long as he's healthy, Achane's he's an obvious start. RB1 upside. I mean,
Yeah.
You don't have to start Tua, but I guess I would if I had to. I imagine he'll be fine at home.
If you drafted Tua, you're probably starting him, right? It's fringe.
The Buffalo D is there's some holes there.
If you have somebody in that same, like, say you have Tua and you took, what's a comparable? Like, I don't know where he plays this week off the top of my head, but like even like a Jared Goff or something. Maybe do Goff. The Thursday night games always make me a little nervous.
They're kind of weird.
Yeah. Hopefully, this is a good matchup, though. I'm excited about this for a Thursday night game, so hopefully it.
Okay. Any interest in DSTs? If you had to pick?
If I had to pick one, give me the Bills.
Man, that's a hard one.
I've said that wrong. Give me the Dolphins.
Give you the Dolphins?
Just because of the young wide receiver core with the Bills.
Yeah, and they do their damages in the back end. Give me Miami at home. I would hate to have to start either one of them.
Right, I'm not excited about that.
All right, Sunday early games. These are obviously the 1 o'clock games. Let's start with the 49ers at the Vikings. 49ers look great on Monday night. Good Lord.
Yeah.
Jordan Mason. Boy, did he go nuts. I swear if you start in that offense at running back, you just rack up fantasy points. If you're a one cut back, you're good to go.
This isn't even a 49er thing. This is just in that
Shanahan.
That's Shanahan.
Yep.
Remember, like Mike Anderson and Olandis Gary, those are 1,000-yard backs in the Shanahan. Granted, Mike Shanahan, not Kyle, but
even Mike Bell.
Yeah,
yeah. They just. I think Kyle's running backs coach is the same dude that was with Mike.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know
he's
that.
He's an old head, man. Seeing him on the field,
that guy needs to be in the Hall of Fame.
yeah. It's crazy how running backs work out there. It just doesn't matter who it is. So as long as CMC's out, he's the guy. Like I said, if you have CMC, you better have Mason. I hope you listened. Now I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this. I want to say something.
Okay.
All right. Shame on Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers staff.
Yeah.
Post game. In case anyone missed it, I'm sure by now you haven't. Mason was being interviewed about his incredible game. They asked when he was told he'd start, and he said Friday.
Yeah, on the field, the lady.
Yes, this is post game.
Right on the field.
Right on the field. Apparently, Shanahan disagrees. Said, CMC wasn't ruled out till Sunday. Mason then came to the podium very visibly upset and didn't really want to talk at all.
Yeah.
Head down, looked angry. He should have been psyched.
Yeah.
As far as I can tell, Shanahan and his staff did tell Mason he'd start Friday, but didn't release that CMC was going to be out till Sunday.
Right.
And Mason accidentally outed his own team and was, from what I can tell, probably chewed out for it.
I assume, yeah.
It's not Mason. You said this. It's not Mason's job to lie for the team.
No.
I
don't even understand what the big advantage here would be. I guess, they're preparing for CMC, but I don't know. It's just odd.
Kid was pumped, excited. He simply answered a question, probably not aware of the injury report rules even related to the NFL. So, listen, I actually don't care if the 49ers pulled that stunt because I'm sure it happens weekly in the NFL.
I'm sure
every single week.
Yeah.
What I don't like is Shanahan and his staff scapegoating this kid who had a fantastic game and totally innocently answered a question he was asked.
Right. At that point, if that is what happened, just own it.
Right.
Just take whatever punishment's coming and own it and move forward.
Agreed. So there, rant over.
All
right. Mason looked great. Probably a little too late to get him now. I hope you had him when we talked about it because it's good luck getting him now. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, I got him. I have a league where I had Christian McCaffrey and didn't have him. Got him off waivers, but
good. Ayuk got paid and dropped a beautiful pass from Purdy in the back corner of the end zone.
Yeah.
It was a tough catch, but man, it was in his hands and Purdy laid it in there like a pillow. If he's going to scream and yell about getting paid and how great he is and then gets paid, then he needs to make that catch.
Yeah, he's not as great as what he got paid.
No, I don't think so. And I don't care if that comes off as ignorant. You have to catch that ball after all that during the offseason. You have to, man.
Well, and even like when you're looking at it from a perspective of the other wide receivers that are getting that money right now, like Ayuk is low man on the totem pole, in my opinion.
Yeah, and also, like, it should be noted here, he didn't do anything at all in this game.
No.
Now, Sauce Gardner he shuts down anyone.
We said that one of them was going to have a bad game.
Yes. And we picked Debo to have the better game.
Yeah.
We picked Ayuk to be shadowed essentially by
I don't know.
Sauce, and that's what happened.
McCaffrey, like Adam Schefter said that McCaffrey is still questionable for this game against the Vikings. So,
Yep.
And the Jordan Mason thing is obvious. The thing that might not be so obvious, but it maybe should be at this point, is if Christian McCaffrey's out, Debo's value goes up.
Yep, big time.
Yeah.
He had a few carries. We'll touch on that here in a sec. But yeah, Gardner handled Ayuk with ease. I do expect a better game here in a week or two for Ayuk. It's going to get better. You're up against Sauce Gardner. You might as well just don't even start that guy, because holy crap. Debo looked fantastic. On the other hand, nabbing you 18 PPR points. 5 catches on 9 targets for 54 yards and 8 carries for 23 yards and a touchdown. 8 carries. That's awesome. Debo looked great. Rest of season, Debo or Ayuk?
Debo.
Me, Debo, too. That name kills me, dude. Where was I at here? Okay, yeah, Debo over Ayuk rest of season. But do you have confidence in both of them versus Minnesota?
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing real world.
No, like where you drafted them, you're starting them. They're in your lineup for sure.
How about Kittle?
Yeah.
4 catches on 5 targets, 8 PPR points. I mean, if you have him, you start.
I don't think Kittle's changed though. I mean, he's gonna have games like this. He's gonna have games where he has huge games. It's
every few weeks he'll get you a 30.
Yeah.
It's just how it is. I also would like to note that Juwan Jennings gave you 11 PPR points.
Quietly.
And looked good doing it.
Yeah.
He did. He caught all 5 of his targets for 64 yards. Good on him. Purdy was a little lackluster, but this game was, it was dominated on the ground. He was 19 for 29, 231 yards, no touchdowns. He should have had one. That's on Ayuk.
Yeah.
But that's where the problem lies. He didn't get anything in the paint.
No, but if Ayuk catches that pass, his performance is very serviceable.
Sure. Better week here out of Purdy against Minnesota?
Yep.
Okay.
Jets defense is still tough.
Are you just afraid that they're just going to run all over him?
Yeah, that is an issue, but I don't know. Even like when they have games like that, Purdy usually finds a way to get.
They were doing it at will.
Yeah.
CMC still questionable, like you said. So keep your eyes, if you have stock in them. And again, if you don't already have Mason, good luck getting him now.
Yeah.
Are you worried about tough sledding for the entire Vikings offense in this matchup?
Yeah. This San Francisco roster is just a problem.
It's loaded
all the way around.
Yep, both sides of the ball loaded up. You're starting Justin Jefferson. Do you have to start Aaron Jones?
Probably.
Okay, and how confident are you if you have to?
I'm not.
Yeah, it's a scary matchup.
Just seeing what happened to Breece Hall, it's.
Yeah.
Case could be made for Ty Chandler in this game.
Really?
Yeah, if the game script goes to where they're behind a lot.
Yeah.
Catching passes out of the backfield.
Which is just going to take away from
Aaron Jones. Taking that chance, but.
No, that's not you're not banging the drum for Chandler, but you're more or less saying this could just get out of hand and just kill Aaron Jones right off. So, okay. Jordan Addison is questionable with an ankle injury, so monitor that. I wouldn't be real high on starting him either. Interest in DST? It's the Niners.
Yeah, I'd take the Niners D this week.
All day long. Anything else there?
Nope.
All right, let's move on to the Seahawks at the Patriots. I think right now it's safe to say the only Patriot you can start is Ramondre Stevenson, and that's it. I cannot justify any of these pass catchers.
No, it's got to shake out some more.
We got to see more. I don't know what else to say. There's no one else to talk about. It's Ramondre Stevenson.
Yeah.
And if you have him, start him. He's playing the Seahawks.
Wish we would have seen a little bit more out of Antonio Gibson, but.
Yeah, I think he might be hurt.
Did he get banged up?
I think he did. I don't have it right here in front of me, but I'm quite sure I saw a questionable tag next to his name. Geno Smith, super flex format. If I have to, I'm not afraid to start him.
No.
No interest in 1 QB leagues, but super flex, sure.
He was limited with a hip injury.
Okay. Well, I just don't know if he got knocked out of the game, though, with that. I'm not positive.
Gotcha.
So I don't know if that impacted things or what. Kenneth Walker still questionable with an abdomen injury, and there really isn't any news yet that I could find as far as, last night when I wrote this. As long as he plays, you're starting him. But Tyler, if he doesn't, confidence level in Charbonnet.
If Kenneth Walker doesn't play, if he's listed as out,
right?
Tough defense, but I think, especially if you had Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet as your handcuff, then yeah, you're rolling.
The workloads should be there.
Yep.
I mean, so opportunity equals fantasy points. Snap shares were really interesting for the Seahawks receivers.
Yeah.
Also, JSN was in for essentially every 2 wide receiver set. Here's the snap shares. Metcalf, 88%. JSN, 79%. Lockett, 54%.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Isn't that something? And he outscored
and
everybody.
Lockett was the guy you wanted to have.
Yeah, I think he had 13 to JSN's 2 to 4 points. Metcalf had like 5.
Right.
And the snap shares were pretty vastly different. If that's a snap share on average going forward, should we expect more out of Metcalf or JSN, or should we look at the target side where Lockett had 7 to Metcalf's 4 and JSN's 2?
I don't know. I got to go a little bit with the snap share, I guess. Just the opportunity of being on the field, you got to think that DK and JSN are going to go up.
Okay.
Definitely from the games that they had, but I mean, just in general, too. Like,
also, to compare, I want to compare those snap percentages to the routes run. It's 26 routes run for Metcalf, 25 for JSN, and 20 for Lockett. So he's still underneath Metcalf and JSN. So
right, but it's closer.
It is closer. So isn't that odd?
Yeah.
Weird. Numbers are weird.
Running the ball a lot, though.
Yeah, sure.
Obviously, JSN and definitely DK have bigger bodied wide receivers. You want to have blocking on the outside.
So right there at that point, you're leaning targets.
Right.
There's an update right there. Kenneth Walker, oblique injury, did not practice today, Wednesday.
So monitor that for sure.
Keep your eye on it. Okay. Listen, as far as the receivers go, I have a feeling with all 3 healthy, it's just going to be a tricky room to figure out. You might want to try to avoid it for a moment, or otherwise,
if you can,
I would just have to lean Lockett in the top for the time being. I mean,
yeah.
No, it wasn't world-beating numbers that Lockett put up. He had 13 fantasy points.
No, but I mean, like, you're figuring DK is going in the 5th or 6th round, though, in a lot of leagues. I mean, you probably got to start him, or at least
you got flex numbers out of Lockett, and you drafted him as a bench player,
right?
I mean, so any DST here? I'm taking the Seahawks.
Yeah, give me the Seahawks DST
against Brissett, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, I think that's one you can just flat out start.
I do worry about the Patriots being able to run. Now, Seattle's front totally revamped, looked pretty good last week, but
okay. All right, let's move on to the Giants and the Commanders. I have to imagine that Neighbors and Singletary maybe find a little success here, but I can't bank on it. And if I can just avoid it entirely, I'm gonna, but I don't know. I could see Singletary producing flex numbers and even maybe Neighbors does a little something. Maybe with enough targets against the soft defense that the Commanders have, maybe he gets one over a time or two on these D-backs. I don't know. I just can't suggest it for anyone or myself.
Right.
Where are you at on that? I mean, this is 2 bad defenses.
Yeah, it's a good opportunity. I think the Giants' defense is actually a little bit better than the Commanders' defense. So when we're talking about the Giants offensively, I feel like this is an opportunity for these players to do something.
I mean, you can't get any better opportunity than this for the Giants players.
Not really.
This is the softest defense you'll probably see all year, unless I haven't looked. I don't think they play Carolina. But it's these 2 in Carolina. Like they're the ones you're starting everybody against. Yeah. It's like back in the day when the Bills and Jets were horrible. Yeah. You started everybody against them. That's just what you did. So listen, if you have them and you want to give it a chance based on
Neighbors, you got to start this week. You got to hope.
I think you have to.
You have to. Yeah.
You took him in the 3rd round,
right?
You're close to the end of it, but 3rd round. And maybe he slipped.
I like Wan'Dale Robinson a lot this week.
He was right there with Neighbors as far as output goes.
12 targets.
Yeah. Yep. So you take Wan'Dale Wan'Dale or Singletary in the flex?
Singletary.
I think I'll take Singletary there too.
But I don't mind Wan'Dale as my flex this week. If he's going to get that kind of target share against a Washington defense, you could do worse in the flex, in my opinion.
I think he's the real deal. It's just,
yeah. I
actually think like the Giants, they just need a quarterback, dude.
They do.
They just need a quarterback. That's all they do. They need a competent. Go trade for Jameis Winston right now. Go. What?
No. Leave him in Cleveland.
Leave him right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want him to take that gig.
Yeah, I do. I got some stock in Jameis. I got some Drew Lock stock too, so just give him a shot and see what happens, and we could be doing something.
All right. Drew Lock, stock, and 2 smoking barrels.
Oh, I like it.
You need to get him in.
He's got to start though. I can't name my team after a bench player. Yeah. Don't you think wouldn't you try Drew Lock at this point? And I'm not even saying Drew Lock is a great quarterback, but jeez Louise.
Honestly,
I don't know if he's healthy yet either.
I prefer
but
Tommy DeVito, if I'm being honest with you.
he was better. Last year, he was better than Daniel Jones.
Yes, dude. Play someone with a little bit of confidence.
Like the thing everybody's saying right now is like in the last however many games, Daniel Jones has thrown more pick sixes than touchdown passes.
That's insane.
That's crazy.
That's an insane stat. It doesn't even sound real. Like, how's it like? You'd almost say like, nah, that can't be an NFL quarterback. It is. His name's Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. As far as the Commanders go, give me Jaden Daniels all day. I mean, he could drop top 10 numbers every week with the skill set that he has.
Yeah.
Especially here. And again, it doesn't have to be pretty.
If he keeps playing like he is and he's not making a lot of mistakes, this guy's just set it and forget it.
For sure. And to bounce off that it doesn't have to look pretty, he could make it look real pretty in this matchup.
He could.
So smash that start button. This is an easy one.
Yeah.
It should be pretty easy most weeks. Commanders wide receivers. Any interest, Tyler, being that they're playing the Giants?
Terry.
That's it.
Yep.
Just Terry. Luke McCaffrey got a lot of work last week. Like a lot. He was on the field.
It didn't translate to much, but he was on the field a lot.
He was even in for.
It's still encouraging that the opportunity is there, right?
Even 2 wide receiver sets.
Right.
He was in. So that's very, very encouraging. He has to be the best receiver behind McLaurin on that team. I know Diami Brown's there, but
I would put them close, honestly. Diami Brown and Luke McCaffrey.
But long run, you got to think it's McCaffrey. So maybe he's
you're definitely leaning that way.
It might afford him more opportunity.
Yeah.
So let's see going forward. It would not surprise me if he dropped 10 fantasy points this week against the Giants.
No, me either.
Just a couple sneaky little plays and bingo, there's some fantasy output. I mean, I don't start him, guys. I'm just saying.
It might happen. We're not.
Yeah. I think Brian Robinson, that's a fantastic start. I think he has a great game here.
Yeah, this is an under radar guy who could end up being a steal in a lot of leagues. Like just where I seen him go.
Yeah.
I'm already kicking myself after week 1. Like,
me too.
Man, I know I had an opportunity where I should have taken Brian Robinson and I didn't, but man, he looked good.
He did. This could be RB2 numbers week here for him.
Yeah.
Easily.
I think Brian Robinson's the guy though. Like Austin Eckler seems change of pace. It doesn't seem like it's really. Yep.
But I do think like the same goes for Eckler here. Like I think you can start him with some confidence in your flex. I do, just for what they're playing up against. There's a lack of receivers there. Like
Eckler still has big playability too. Yeah,
sure. One dump off to the flat could save your day. Starting the Washington D or the Giants D.
I'll start the Washington defense.
I'll take the Washington defense only because I think they can force the Giants to just be one-dimensional.
Right.
I can't believe I'm saying
and
that.
Jaden Daniels hasn't shown me that he's inexperienced enough to make the dumb mistakes that some rookies will make. Like, I just don't think... I'm not saying the Giants couldn't have a very good DST here today, but I don't know. Like, he just didn't make a lot of dumb plays in week 1.
Agreed. Anything else?
Nope.
All right, let's move on to the Chargers at the Panthers. Start every Charger on the roster.
Start a lot of them.
Yeah, I'm obviously joking. It's a smash start for Dobbins.
Oh, yeah.
Easy. And I think he feasts real good here.
Yeah.
I think this is easy RB2 numbers and maybe more.
I think Dobbins he could be RB1.
Yeah.
Even Gus, worthy of a flex spot this week.
Yeah, I agree. Start him. Gus in the flex. Yeah. It depends where your roster's at, but I mean, if
you feel like there's going to be goal line opportunities here this week,
maybe you don't have Charbonnet, Kenneth Walker's out.
Gus in the flex.
Yep, you never know.
Lad McConkey, like him. Right?
Yeah. So Josh Palmer outsnapped McConkey, but McConkey led all the wide receivers in targets, catches, yards, scored a touchdown.
Yeah, Josh Palmer had an atrocious week 1.
Yeah. He must have got angry at the end when he
nothing happened in 4 minutes left in the game. He gets ejected. No suspension, I guess. The NFL's already declared that there's no suspension for that or anything, so he'll be playing. But
I'm flexing McConkey if I need to, and I feel all right about it.
Yeah.
He's the only one that I'm starting, though, in this whole group.
Yeah.
Okay. Tyler, no problems with Herbert or?
This week, I go
So
with
the run heavy aspect's going to concern you, obviously.
Yeah.
But I feel like he throws a couple touchdowns in this game and kind of like has a good time getting in on the feast that's going to happen.
Yeah, and I think I'm not very high on Justin Herbert at all this year. I think this is one of the few games where I will say, yeah, go ahead and start Herbert, but
Okay. I'm not nothing at tight end. I think it's Hayden Hurst. I'm not interested. Ty,
I have some intrigue there in very deep leagues, but not a lot. I think he had like 3 catches for 38 yards.
maybe deeper tight end premium.
Yeah, for sure.
You might be able to get away with that.
But even then, you're not starting him. You're just looking, and if you're in a really bad tight end spot, and you got a roster spot, maybe pick him up and let him sit for a little bit. But
okay.
Other than that, no.
I'm not starting a single Panther until further notice. I don't even know what to talk about here.
Give me Deontay Johnson this week in a flex spot.
Boy, that's guts. Okay, I will avoid that.
Yeah, fair enough.
But I understand. I mean, he's there. He's the best receiver they have. But God dang, I can't do it. Obviously, you start the Chargers defense.
Oh yeah,
for crying out loud! Don't even think about it. If they're available,
they're probably not there.
They're probably not now. It's too late.
No.
All right, that's it for that game. Let's move on to the Saints at the Cowboys.
Back to reality, New Orleans.
Yeah. Yeah, for real. Does Chris Olave have a better game here?
Yep.
No worries about Diggs being on him?
No.
My personal opinion on Diggs, a little overrated. He's he reminds me a lot of Asante Samuel when he was just like a little later in his career. He was guessing and trying to jump everything.
It's tough though, because
he has his moments though too, where it's.
I won't go as far. I get what you're saying, but
he's a boomer bust type corner,
kind of. But
and he gets burned a lot.
Yeah, and I can't say he got burned as much, but he definitely got burned some. I'm gonna go way back here, but Rod Woodson early in his career was a big time risk taker, very aggressive corner that for Rod Woodson, don't get me wrong, a lot of times it would pay off and it'd be great. A lot of times though, he's making that jump and I've definitely seen games where it cost Rod Woodson early with the Steelers. Now, did Rod get better at that as career went on? You bet. But it's tough because I don't know if I'd say he's overrated, but I'll say he is a very aggressive corner who can get burnt.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
So Olave ran more routes than any other wide receiver. He outsnapped all of them. It was just a target thing.
That's got to get going. Now, I feel, and nothing against Diggs, but I feel differently if this is Sauce Gardner.
Oh yeah,
out there.
I don't start anyone against Sauce Gardner.
And the floor was so low, so I definitely think Olave improves this week and has a better week.
Okay. Still confident in flexing Shaheed? 5 targets last week?
Yeah. I'll go out on a limb here and say that Shaheed has a better week 2 than even his week 1.
All right.
I think he has more catches, more targets, and just does a little bit more work. New Orleans is going to have to pass more in this game.
Yeah, they're going to have to keep up.
Yeah.
Okay. You're starting Kamara. That's a given.
Yep.
Any concerns against the Cowboys defense? Jerome Ford, just for some context, 12 carries, 44 yards, 1 touchdown, 6 catches, 25 yards, 18 fantasy points against the Cowboys. So
I think Kamara could have a very similar game to that.
The next thing in my notes is literally seems like Kamara can duplicate that.
Right.
So, yeah, I would say that's fine. You start Kamara if you have him.
Yep.
You're starting Dak here, I think, especially if Lattimore is out, but his hamstring injury does seem to be pretty minor.
Dak was a little bit down last week, but...
So you expect a better outing?
I'm starting Dak if Lattimore is in. It doesn't matter. I'm starting Dak.
Okay. CD is obvious.
Yep.
But what about Cooks? Flex worthy?
Definitely if Ferguson misses time.
Yeah. In my notes, especially if Ferguson is out or playing less than 100%.
I did not read Chad's notes.
7 targets last week for Cooks. Turned it into 40 yards and a touchdown. Landed you 14 PPR points. So, yeah, I mean, he's the receiver too, man.
Yeah,
and I still think no Ferguson.
The Cowboys are going to have to pass the ball here. I don't think they're going to have a lot of success running against the Saints. So I think there's going to be an aerial attack here, even for the Cowboys. if Ferguson isn't playing, which it seems like he's trending, that he's not going to go this week.
I think Cooks might make me eat a little bit of crow this year.
Could.
He really could. I would prefer to avoid Zeke in the flex, but the volume's probably there for like low to mid tier type flex numbers.
I don't have a problem with Zeke in my flex, but you feel like if he doesn't get the touchdown, you're looking at maybe like a 5 or 6 point.
If you're in a 12-man league and you're starting Zeke right now, then again, I'd love Zeke in your 12-man.
Yeah, it just depends how you draft it. Really, it just depends how you draft it.
In your league, you start 3 receivers. I took 4 right in a row.
Right.
I just there's so many good receivers there. I couldn't stop.
Yeah,
I just kept taking them. All right, defenses.
Give me the Cowboys defense.
I want to go against you, but not at home. I'll take the Cowboys defense. All right, let's move on to the Colts at the Packers. I'm nervous about starting any Packer with Willis under center. I'll start Jaden Reed if need be, just because he gets things done like in more than one way, but there's still worry involved.
Oh yeah, I think you're starting Josh Jacobs and Jaden Reed.
Yeah, that's the next note. You probably have to start Jacobs, but man, I don't feel great about it.
No,
and he just didn't look very good to me last week.
No, and he's gonna be running against a stack box this week.
Oh, for sure. And he struggled against Eagles. Linebacker core has improved a little bit. Boy, Bond looked really good in that Friday night.
Yeah,
good. He was all over the place. Nakobe Dean's kind of coming around. You're not so youthful. Those 2 D tackle positions are starting to mature up and come around. And
Carter's just a monster.
Yeah, he's an animal. Jordan Davis is so big.
I don't think that this defense is going to be like the Eagles, but
they're going to stack the box.
They are going to stack the box.
And Josh Jacobs struggled there. That box wasn't really stacked. So, don't feel great about Packers players.
Any intrigue with Wilson just because of short passes? The chances are they're going to have to pass and not going to be able to run.
Not really.
Any intrigue there?
No, because I've seen Willis in the check down game too. Yeah. It's bad. That's bad. They're bouncing off people's feet, and it's like, dude, wait.
Do you have any interest in Willis whatsoever? Superflex? Are you like me and Chad are in a league right now. Is it 14 or 12?
14.
Willis is sat there through waivers.
Nobody got him.
He's still there. Well, that was a couple hours ago. I haven't looked at my phone, but Willis still there.
No, I mean, personally, for me personally in that league, I've got Josh Allen and Trevor Lawrence and Aaron Rodgers. So no. I feel like
another thing of note for that question. That's kind of a loaded question, but Jordan Love technically hasn't been put on IR yet.
Right.
So maybe they think it won't be that long. I don't know.
Maybe 3 weeks he comes back.
That'd be great.
Well, they better figure something out because
this is going to be tough.
They're going to drag it out if they keep holding him because once he hits it, it's 4 weeks minimum. So figure it out here, Packers.
Yeah,
I don't know. Anyway. Scary to start any Packers.
Yeah.
Period. I think in Superflex I'll find a way around that. I'd rather not start Willis.
I was just asking if there's any interest because
I don't think. I've seen enough of him, man. It's really, really bad. Anthony Richardson, it's an every week start. That's easy. I'm excited to see him play again this week though. You should be excited too if you like football. You're starting Jonathan Taylor. But I think everyone who has him is screaming for more than 10 points. I think he'll get it for you. I think he has a much... That was my dog.
He's upset.
Yeah, he's awful loud about something. Anyway, people are screaming for more than 10 points out of Jonathan Taylor. I think he gets it for you. I think he has a much better week this week, especially if Willis just keeps putting his own defense right back on the field over and over again, and I think he will. I mean, that defense is going to be so whooped by the third quarter.
Yeah, it's going to be bad.
It's going to be pretty bad. Do you think people are panicking on Jonathan Taylor after 1 week?
I wish they would. I would trade them for him.
I think that's a player that you should attack. Just an opinion. What do you think? I mean, if you're running back needed, you want to
go after that for sure. I would go after it.
Okay. Start Pittman, but any other receiver still a wait and see approach. I think
Yeah,
I need to see if anything sticks from last week before.
And as good as Anthony Richards is going to be in fantasy, outside of Pittman, I see this being a very boomer bust wide receiver room.
Sure. Yeah, I'm not confident in anybody.
Who catches the big bomb this week?
Yeah. Oh, it's Doolin. Yeah, I'm not confident in anyone outside of Pittman. Do you think Pittman bounces back this week?
Yeah, has a better week. I don't know if I call it a complete bounce back, but has a better week.
I would think so. Any DST interest here? Yes, the Colts.
Yeah, the Colts.
All right, let's move on to the Browns at the Jaguars. Until I see something different out of Watson, I'm very weary on starting any player not named Jerome Ford.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will say that Cowboys defense is tough in the secondary. Jerry Jeudy had a lot of targets. What do you have, 8 or 9 targets? I think 8 off the top of my head. That's encouraging. He's got to get him the ball there.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to elaborate on this. I will say, I'm just going to make the statement. There is another allegation with Deshaun Watson from back in 2020 going on right now. If you're a Deshaun Watson owner, which unfortunately I am, definitely monitor that situation and see what's going on. That's all I'm really going to say about it.
Lucky for you, it's in Dynasty, and you're not just stuck with them all year.
No, I got Jameis. I'm ready to go.
Yeah. I think Ford could be a serviceable starting piece. Just
I think he's going to be.
Week in and week out until Chubb returns.
Yep.
Okay. Some weeks will depend on matchups, but I don't think this is one of them.
I think Jeudy and Cooper, you're just waiting to hopefully that Deshaun can put something together to get these guys the ball. He did target Jeudy a lot. Cooper didn't even really get a lot of targets.
Right.
I think it was 5 or 6.
Okay.
Yeah, the Jeudy thing is encouraging, but man, it's got to get better for me to do anything as far as starting any of those players.
Right. All right. And Njoku is week to week with what is feared to be a high ankle sprain. So there's that. Keep your eyes on it. I don't have any interest in Lawrence in this matchup. Not against the Browns defense.
No.
I would rather go elsewhere. Is it weird that we're even asking at this point in his career, like with the hype that he had coming in? Don't you think by now it should just be set it and forget it with everything that kind of surrounded him?
Yeah, I'm starting to go the other way and wondering if it's ever going to be that.
Yep, me too. I really am. We'll find out. I'm worried about him in this matchup.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
I mean, say what you want about the Browns and Deshaun Watson, but this defense is no joke.
No, they're serious.
Okay. And even Brian Thomas looked good, but man, this Browns defense is just too good to trust it. Any faith in any Jags receivers here at all?
No.
Can you flex Thomas?
If you have to.
Okay, it's worrisome though. I should note Gabe Davis led the receivers in snaps and was the receiver on the field in one receiver formations. He ended with 9 fantasy points last week compared to Brian Thomas's 14 and Kirk's 4. So for whatever that's worth,
Christian Kirk's going to have better games.
I would think so.
I don't like him this week though.
No, at least there's a rapport there with Lawrence going forward.
Yeah.
So. Is a bounce back in order for Ingram here? Too good not to, right?
Yeah.
Important to note, he did get a decline in playing time. He played less snaps in week 1 than what his per game average was last year. Kind of weird.
It is weird.
So it's something to watch.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling it's going to be all right moving forward. He's one of the best players on that team.
Yeah.
Okay. ETN also concerns me in this matchup, and I'm curious if the Tank Bigsby thing is real or an outlier, because if it's real, that's a problem.
You got to think he's earned some touches.
You would think so. And from what I'm reading, he's gonna.
Yeah.
This is a thing. Listen, in the offseason, I said there's real potential for ETN to lose some touches. And if this sticks like it did in week 1, it's going to hurt a lot of people. So
he outperformed ETN too. They had similar workloads.
They had the same workload.
Yeah.
So as far as carries go, they both had 12. One had 44 yards. One had 75. And the 75 was Bigsby. So you probably can't avoid starting ETN, but I'd temper the expectations.
And there's a good chance that ETN lost his goal line privileges.
Very good chance. Doug Peterson's got to be sick of it.
Not joking. Like, no. That, you fumbled at the 1. There's a good chance that Tank gets that nod.
Yep. Very good chance. Starting the Browns defense?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on to the Jets at the Titans. Well, Rodgers is back, but it wasn't exactly fantastic. Tough defense, long road trip from one coast to the other. Needed to knock off some rust. I think overall it's going to be fine, especially for Garrett Wilson. I got to be honest, though, man. Nathaniel Hackett's play calling was a little bland. Didn't you think?
Yeah. I just don't worry about that in this offense.
No, as
the season goes on, like Rodgers will be making adjustments with these guys from the field, and
they kept running their offense right off the field, like literally running it off the field. Like you've got Aaron
string
Rodgers.
of third and outs was bad.
Like let Aaron Rodgers work. You just like last night was a game where you needed Aaron Rodgers to do what you brought him there for, and you elected to continuously run on first and second downs and bring nothing creative into the fold at all, and just 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. When that started happening, I said, "There's no way they're going to win this game." Like you just keep bringing Jordan Mason back out there, and he's running all over your beat up defense, and they're wore down. So
those 3 and outs just killed that team.
Yep. But I do still have high faith in Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, even Rodgers. Like I do think it's a rust scenario. It's like what I was seeing was like a lot of passes were just behind the receivers a little bit. Even the one that got picked, it got tipped. Like that was behind Garrett Wilson a little bit, where it got tapped up in the air and then picked off. I think Rodgers shakes this rust.
Yeah,
I don't think we're having this conversation even in week 3 or 4.
Played the 49ers on the road, man.
I still think Garrett Wilson is going to have a monster year.
Me too. Listen, it's going to get better going forward for Wilson. Aaron is absolutely looking for him.
Yeah.
I mean, every play. And the Niners are no joke on the defensive side. Aaron Rodgers needed rust to shake off. They just went from the East Coast clear to the West Coast. And Wilson was getting open, so stay faithful. I'm staying very faithful. I have no concerns at all there.
No, all the way across the board. Breece Hall is going to get better as this offense opens up. I don't know if there's a better defense in the NFL than San Francisco right now. They're in that conversation. Let's put it that way.
And they're even who's Hufanga? That guy is a machine.
Him and Fred Warner are just there every play.
Terrifying.
Like when the play ends, it's like, oh well, there's Funga, there's Fred Warner.
I don't know how running backs don't get to them and like scream like a little girl, turn around and run the other way.
Punch out. Like as soon as he drew his arm back, I'm like, no,
stop. We talked about Garrett Wilson, but let's go to the other side. Alan Lazard,
big game. 6
catches on 9 targets. 9 targets. 89 yards and 2 touchdowns. So the one was a massive touchdown. I mean, that was the one they threw a flag, defense jumped,
free play.
Aaron Rodgers crushes you on free plays.
Oh, yeah.
He gets so mad when he doesn't get the free play.
The shot's coming.
Yeah. What do we do with this? I mean, did we miss this? Like with the new faces showing up in the Jets receiver room, or is it an outlier?
I did say
someone has to be the 2.
I did say a couple times throughout the season, like, what do we make? Like, it's still Aaron Rodgers. He likes his guys there. It's Alan Lazard. Is he a thing at all? Kind of overlooked it just because of the guys coming in and new season and stuff. He's definitely worth a roster spot at this point.
Okay. I have to agree, man. Like, someone's got to play they were like the only 2 receivers he was throwing to.
Yeah, so. And Mike Williams is going to get into the mix once he gets back off the ACL and everything. But I don't know.
Rodgers is going to champion for his guy.
Pick up Lazard and get him on a roster. I don't think it's a bad move.
Agreed. We have $100 fab in the 14-man dynasty league there, the Keystone Kings League. I'm going for it this year, and I think I have a good chance. And I took $40 of that fab and put it on Lazard. I was like, that's just another bench piece. I need it. Give it to me. I dropped $40 out of 100 before week 2 started. But
if that's your need, though,
that was my need. So
chances are, and there's going to be things that pop up, but chances are week 1 is like your best waiver wire week.
Yeah.
So, I don't have a problem with that.
And again, it's 14-man. It's dynasty with a deep bench.
Right.
We have 11 bench spots.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's
you get a guy that pops up that could have a role in an offense.
Him all day.
Go get it.
Breece Hall, obvious start. He looked good.
Yeah.
I mean,
tough to find lanes against that defense.
It is. He did a good job overall. Yeah. Very obvious start. Yeah. Don't even need to talk about it. Outside of Pollard, what other Titans do you have interest in or faith in this week? Any?
No.
Ridley's a shaky flex, and I just
don't even want to do that. I don't even want to do that.
Me neither. So it's Pollard.
Tajay's my number 2. I'll throw that right out there now. He's number 2 out of this roster. They did say this week that they want him to be more involved, so that's encouraging if you're a Tajay owner. But Pollard looked good.
He was like almost strictly third down.
Yeah.
Tajay.
It's tough because Pollard looked good.
Yeah.
And this could be like a hot hand thing. Pollard's my number 1. Tajay's my number 2 on this team. I just want to stay away from Ridley even at this point.
Okay. Start the Jets defense?
Yeah.
Not the Titans?
No.
Nah. Moving on to the Buccaneers at the Lions. So let's start with the obvious question. Bounce back for St. Brown?
Yeah.
Gotta think so.
Not only that, any team that St. Brown would play, you could put him against Sauce Gardner right now, and I'd say, like, well, I think he's going to have a better game than last week, just because it was so bad in week 1. That said, the Buccaneers lost 3 starting players in their secondary in week 1.
They sure
they're
did.
Beat up.
I was hoping that you would say that.
So
okay.
Definitely St. Brown with an uptick against what I expect to be a depleted secondary. Absolutely big uptick.
I saw that note the other day, just scouring through the web, and I was like, ouch. Oof, that's going to hurt. So not necessarily in this matchup, but there is a slight fear, and maybe it's an overreaction, but there's a slight fear that the Rams maybe found a way to eliminate him and other teams just pick up on it, like the whole copycat league, you know how that goes.
Yeah.
That's my only fear, is that the Rams figured out a way, like, we're just going to take him out of the game. And the team's just like, oh, that's how you take St. Brown out right there. Problem is, you're leaving everything else wide open.
That's still Laporta and Jameson Williams is going to be legit
that running
this year,
back duo. I mean, it might just be an overreaction. Right. But it's just like, man, they took him out of the game. I mean, they did. They took him out of the game.
And it is a copycat league, but I got to think the Lions and Dan Campbell going back there like, well, if they do this again, look at all this we can do. I mean, so it's...
Right, there's that on the other side, too. Yeah. There's them being like, oh, okay, good luck doing that, because we're just going to do this. Fair point. Bounce back for Laporta? Yeah. Feels like it.
Not as much as St. Brown, but I think Laporta has a better week.
You have to think so.
Yeah.
I mean, he's elite, I think. I mean, it's only 1 year, but I think that dude is... You can't ignore him.
No, I think we've seen the real Laporta.
Yeah, I think so, too.
I do wonder if he's still a little dinged up.
Yeah.
Like, if that's some of the slow start here. Maybe not, but...
We'll find out this week.
Yep.
You're starting him.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you have to.
That's not even a question.
I'm starting St. Brown and Jameson Williams.
Yeah.
St. Brown I still have as a higher. I'll bump him down to wide receiver 2 with wide receiver 1 upside. And Jameson Williams, I'll say flex or wide receiver 3 with wide receiver 2, possibly even 1 upside.
Agreed. Yeah, it's nice to know that you can start Jameson now.
Love it. I've been waiting for this for a long time.
Ever, but here we are, man. So yeah, Tyler's essentially calling him a receiver 2 right now, right?
Yep.
With upside for more. I'm gonna stick with flex and receiver 2 upside, but just for now. Yeah. I just want to see. I want to see it again. It happens again. It's over. I mean, yeah, it's a real thing. You obviously start Gibbs. Is it as obvious to start Montgomery? Kind of seems so, right?
Yeah, I mean, where are you talking? But man,
I mean, for where he was taken, you're probably flexing him, and holy man,
that's good.
That's a really
you
good
feel
flex.
real good about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But even in deep leagues like RB2, I still think you feel good about that. So yeah, definitely Gibbs and Montgomery start.
So we just talked about all these Lions. I think it's really important to remember that there's a lot of weapons here all of a sudden.
That's a thing.
It is. So, and it's important to remember that not every one of these guys can have a day every week.
No.
So they should all be serviceable week in and week out with guys popping off kind of like back and forth over the course of the season. But there's going to be some low weeks for some guys. And some weeks it might be Gibbs. Some weeks it's going to be St. Brown. We just saw it. This week it could be Jameson Williams, and it's all St. Brown. Yeah. Like, it's just, but you have to start these guys.
Yeah.
They're way too good not to start. So I just I thought that was important to bring up. It's easy to lose faith.
Think San Francisco. There's a lot of weapons around.
Right.
That,
sometimes
guys are going to have.
Perfect example.
Yep.
Sometimes you got to take a step back and be like, wait, is this something to panic over, or is it just what we just stated?
Right.
Baker or Goff this week?
Baker. All that stuff we just said about the Lions, it's Baker.
Yeah, give me Baker. Oh. Give me Baker. Man, I want to take Goff at home with all those D-backs beat up.
I just think Baker's going to be...
Give me Goff at home.
I'm sticking with Baker.
Okay, fair enough. Evans and Godwin, both starts.
Yep.
I want to see last week's numbers continue for Godwin. Like, this is another one like Jameson Williams. Like, I need to see this again.
Yeah.
I really want Godwin to become set it and forget it receiver 2 with one upside, like every week.
Yeah.
That's what he should be.
Yeah, you feel like if Baker's playing at the level that he is, he could fall into that like Michael Crabtree role from 5 or 6 years ago, where it's just like 10 or 15 points every week, like every week.
That's what I need to see.
That's what you want him to fall into. Like that's.
So I'll be watching this game pretty close because you got Jameson and Godwin. I want to see how that shakes out for both of them. You have to start Rashad White. It'll probably be fine, but man, that low YPC picked right up where it left off last year.
And the problem is now they have a rookie who's seriously outperforming that,
Bucky
at least
Irving,
in 1 week.
He's worth monitoring due to it. I mean,
if you have Rashad White, Bucky Irving needs to be on your roster.
Next note, I recommend adding him for sure. Bucky Irving to your bench if you can make the room. Having that handcuff ready just in case, it's a good thing, and he looked good.
He did.
Looked like a real good handcuff to have. If you had to pick a defense, I'll take Detroit.
Yeah.
I don't want either one of them, though.
No, I see this as a pretty high-scoring game.
Should be.
This is a playoff game rematch from last year. It's going to be a
little chippy.
Yep, for sure.
A fun one. All right, let's move on to the Raiders at the Ravens. This is our last game. The big question here has to be Isaiah Likely. Is he going to continue being a monster while Andrews takes a back seat? Like, what do you think this continues on, or what?
Yes, and kind of yes. Isaiah Likely, I think he's going to continue being a monster. Andrews is going to get better. He's going to have. I shouldn't say he's going to have better weeks. Andrews is still really good. But no, I think Isaiah Likely is he's the more athletic tight end. They want to get the ball in his hands. I'm not going to tell you that he's going to catch 9 or 11 catches, whatever it was last week, every week. But I think he's the tight end that you want on this team.
I'm starting Likely every week until I'm proven otherwise. Okay. You're starting Henry, and I expect a really good game here. I expect a boom game.
Right. A different game script.
Yes. I think Henry runs all over him.
Yeah.
We get a little less Justice Hill this week.
Yeah.
Okay. Zay Flowers must start.
Yep.
There isn't a receiver on this team that can get in his way, man.
No.
The targets are incredible. He's that dude.
Yeah.
Massive ceiling every week. It's just a way they get the targets to him. Like, to me, it's like,
and
it's
he's
just catch.
One of them guys. Any play could just be gone.
Yep. They get it to him in space and let him work. I love that about him. Like, they recognize that. Like, get him the ball in space, and he can rip the top right off too.
Oh yeah.
So I'm a huge fan of what this kid does with the ball in his hands. I mean, I'm starting this kid every chance I get. Like, it's a smash start every week. I don't care who they're playing.
Yeah.
Kid's awesome. You obviously start Lamar. Nobody's asking that question. If you are, this is your first year. Start him.
He's good.
Yeah, he's decent. He does all right. The QB situation in Vegas is insanely concerning to me for these pass catchers.
It's not startable.
It's not. Yeah, but like
Devontae Adams, you have to start. Jacoby Myers, I'm not starting this week.
No. So you're pretty worried about it too. It's like, this is a real problem.
Yeah.
It's not. Well, I don't think it's week 1 panic at all. You have a backup and a backup to your backup. And like, I don't care who's under center there. This isn't going to be good.
No.
However, Bowers does seem startable because of everything we just said.
Yeah.
Just for targets and an opportunity through that. 8 targets is pretty reasonable. And a QB like Minshew needs that safety blanket. He has to have it. So, you going to start him on the road against Baltimore?
No.
I'm not either. I can't. I just can't do it. If I have a way around...
You know who else is really good?
Who's that?
Kyle Hamilton.
He's an animal.
He is.
Yeah, he's a beast. Man, I would love to find a way around Adams. I just don't think you can.
No, you got to start him.
That's a bummer. I knew this could be a problem, so I'm so glad that I avoided him.
I think just going off of what we see, and maybe Gardner gets a little bit better, I don't think it's a great situation no matter what happens.
No.
But just going off of what we've seen last year, I think you're hoping for Aiden O'Connell. At this point.
Sure, give him a shot. I mean, it can't be worse. Well, I guess
I'm not even talking about owning either of them quarterbacks, because unless you're in a super flex league, you don't have either of those quarterbacks on your roster.
Right.
But for the wide receivers, Devontae Adams was still serviceable with Aiden O'Connell.
Sure.
Gardner Minshew right now, it's like, well, show me you can make this guy worth the 4th or 5th round pick that he was in redraft leagues. Like, it's I don't know.
Tough. That's tough, man. All I can say for myself personally is I'm glad I avoided. Because, I know it was only 1 week, but
I do have Devontae Adams in one league where he fell, and I did take him. And
yeah, you were drafting it while we were podcasting.
Yeah.
He fell way down there.
He fell way down.
But at that point, you take him. But also, lucky for you, because you took him at that point, you got options.
Right.
Over top of him. Okay. Concern about Zamir White in this matchup. He was outsnapped by Alexander Madison. Not outcarried, but he was outsnapped. He was on the field more.
No.
Okay.
I'm still in the Zamir White train. I think he turns it around. I don't like this matchup.
No, I don't like this matchup either. But I am concerned about this Madison Zamir thing. I wasn't initially when we did.
If you take away that splash play touchdown down the sideline, it doesn't look as bad.
No, but it's the snap share.
Yeah.
That's what worries me. Because that's more important. That
could be a factor in this game. They were behind in that Chargers game. Could be a factor this
Zamir
game
doesn't
too.
really pass catches or catch
passes.
Catch passes. That's a long day, man. I was in such a bad mood, and this is making me happier.
Yeah, football's coming though, Chad. It's fine.
I know.
It's fine.
I know. Yeah, he doesn't catch passes necessarily. So I
wish he would more.
Yeah, me too. But it's just not really his thing for whatever reason.
They have to get this ground game going, though. And I still think Zamir White's the answer to that.
Yeah, but the problem with this week is going to be bad. And they're in Baltimore. This is not going to be good. This is a long road trip. Yeah,
game script is definitely more of a Madison.
It is.
If he's going to be the pass catching back, definitely the game script does not look good for Zamir White. But I'm not out on him yet. I'm not trading him yet.
I'm not out on him, but I am concerned.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, Tyler, that was the last game. Do you have any final thoughts? What's that?
I'm ready to watch him.
I want to watch him too. Luckily, tomorrow's Thursday, so you will get Buffalo and Miami.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah. Any final thoughts?
Free Jameis Winston.
That's right. I concur. Free that man. Free that man.
We say this all year, and then he'll get a shot like week 7. He'll just be terrible. Like, Jameis! I told everybody you should be starting.
It can't be worse.
Yeah, you wouldn't think so. Yeah, that's bad. That's bad. That's it. Free Jameis. And that's it for today's show. Again, as always, thank you all so much for tuning in and giving us your support. Remember, our PPR Superflex Dynasty rankings are now available in the description. Just click the corresponding link. They are available as well on our Twitter. Also, check the description for instructions on how to get your trades graded. Join us next time where we'll preview the Sunday 4 o'clock game, Sunday Night Football, and Monday Night Football. Please remember to like, follow, and subscribe to our Spotify, Twitter, and YouTube. For the love of God, tell your friends. See you next time, everybody.